Test 1, 2.
She's not coming. She's virtual. All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you all to our CRA Board Hybrid Meeting. Today is May the 10th, and it is 2022. It is 5:31 p.m. Give me 1 second, Tom. There you go. Call the roll, please.
Chair James,
Here.
Vice Chair Salvino,
Here.
Board Member Davis,
Here.
Board Member Llewellyn,
Here.
Board Member Odman,
Here.
CRA Director Chen,
Here.
and City Attorney Bootsas.
Here. Thank you. Uh-oh. Do we have any citizens' comments? None were registered, but if you are in the audience and you wish to address the board, if you would please step to the podium and then afterwards fill out a request to speak form. You will have 3 minutes. Okay, seeing as there are none, CRA administrative reports.
Do we do the report now or we do the presentation in the order?
The order is the report. You want to?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, excuse me. So I want to repeat the CRA contact information. We're going through a lot of important things these days. I want to make sure that all of you know how to reach the CRA for your ideas and inputs, as well as to stay on top of the news that's going on. My direct number is 954-924-6801, extension 3732. Please feel free to use that number and get hold of me. I'd like to keep you up to date. Want to advise you that the CRA plan update is continuing on the way. Our workshop a couple of weeks ago was very helpful, very informative. Thank you all for your extra time and participation in that. And along with that, Dr. Ford was also interested in some of our mission to market, or excuse me, IP to market incubator, was also very interested in hearing some of your priorities for the upcoming years. With that, that's in close association, I'm pleased to inform you that our fiscal year 2021 audit is complete. And our auditor, Mark Grace, is online. If you would like, he would be happy to bring you up to date for a quick summary report of the findings of our 2021 audit. If you could recognize him, Mark Grace.
Hi, good evening.
All right, there you go. Good evening, Mr. Grace. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm well.
Good. I kind of just wanted to give a brief overview, a brief summary of our audit this year of the CRA. We did the year-end audit of September 30th, 2021. This was our first year of the engagement. And I just kind of want to go through the highlights, some of the main points that as we went through the audit this year. First and foremost, on our independent auditor's report, we've given it an unmodified opinion. In other words, that's a clean opinion for the year ended. Some of the financial results, without getting in too much detail, total assets for the CRA at year end was approximately 1.7 million. With very little liabilities. And the big reason, kudos to the city, is that some of the debt that was taken out, the note payable years ago with the county, the last approximately 500 something thousand was forgiven this year because they met all the requirements. So that's very good. So there's zero debt for the CRA there. Revenues were about $1 million, while expenses were about a little bit higher than that, but overall a positive year. If you look at the total change in the statement of activities, Frank and Adam and the rest of the team provided us all the information timely. They provided us with various schedules and budgets that meet some and demonstrate budgetary compliance. Some of the other things that are the more important things as we look as auditors, we look at internal controls and compliance with various items. We noted no significant deficiencies, no material weaknesses while we were conducting the audit, no issues with non-compliance. In addition to that, we're required to report to the Auditor General of Florida if there were any issues, if there was any financial emergencies, going concern type issues. We noted none while we were doing the audit. We also look at the investments policy. You'll see multiple reports in the back of the financial statement related to internal controls, compliance, investments. Management's responsible for the various accounting policies to make sure they're in accordance with the standards. We review those. We go through a detailed checklist to make sure that all the required disclosures are included in the financial statement to be in accordance with governmental accounting. We noted no transactions that lacked authoritative guidance or consensus. All significant transactions were recorded in the proper period. Very little, if any, like journal entries. One thing that we found when we came to the city is that we didn't have to do essentially a bookkeeping job. Frank and Adam and the rest of the team do a good job, so you can rely on the information that they provide you on a monthly or yearly, annual basis. If we had to come in and provide or post a lot of journal entries, then that wouldn't be the case, but I can tell you that we didn't really have many at all. We never had any disagreements with anything or in any accounting that was being done. They provide us all the information timely. Again, there was no difficulties in conducting the audit. As any audit in the first year, we ask a lot of questions as we get a good understanding of the city and everything that goes on within the city and the CRA. But again, like I said, full access was provided to us. All in all, it was a clean opinion for the CRA. And those were the kind of the main highlights that I wanted to touch upon. I'd be happy to answer any questions now or any day in the future. Again, we work for the board. So any questions you may have, I'll be happy to answer.
I don't see that we have any. Thank you so much for the report and the audit. And we appreciate you being here, Mr. Grace.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And just to finish up this subject, to let you know, by state statute, that report will be posted on our CRA website as well as being sent to Broward County for their records. So this will complete our fiscal year 2021 annual report. The Dania Beach and Innovation Ecosystem is alive and well. As I've reported in the past several months, we have our Dania Beach Business Academy classes that are underway, Passions to Profit. I was pleased to find that as of this week, we have 250 registrations attending our classes for this time around. So I consider that to be a highly successful program. I also would like to comment that Mayor James participated in our first class last week to welcome the class to our academy. Thank you. The Dania Beach Arts and Seafood Celebration, information keeps kind of coming in on this because it was such a big enterprise that sometimes it takes time to comprise the numbers. But to just give you some statistics associated with the promotion of this program and the impact it had across our region. The YouTube campaign, there were 270,000 impressions ordered, 308,000 delivered. Sun Sentinel ads, 20,950 impressions. NBC6 broadcast for 4 days, and they also posted the announcements online about our event. The Dania Beach Press, we made the front page of the March edition. Digital ad impressions, 398,000. Broadcast radio ads, 40. And as close as we can estimate, there were 15,000 people across the 2 days. So I think if by the numbers alone, this was a highly successful event. For Dania After Dark, coming this weekend, the event's gonna host Mongoose Triple Threat. I have to admit, this is not my musical genre. I can't describe them to you, but I understand they're very popular. They're also gonna be, for the headline entertainment, the Flyers. There's a nice assortment of food trucks that will be there for actually a mixed cuisine that will be basically able to satisfy almost anyone's palate and appetite. For economic development activities, there was a little confusion, so I want to make clear. I try to make this clear in our reports, but when we go out and look for people who are good candidates who are looking to improve their properties and would be possibilities for our facade improvement grant, we don't just hand them a stack of papers to fill out. We actually work with them. And the idea is to make sure that they understand what they're getting into and that they understand the kind of information we're looking for so that we can process their application quickly. Our objective is once we have a completed application, we'd like to be in a position to produce an award letter within 30 days of that. Of course, that includes bringing it to you. So it has to be right when we get it to meet that kind of goal. We actually have we actually have 7 active engagements working with companies to do facade improvement grants. There was some confusion about the Fish Grill. It is listed here. The Fish Grill actually is not applying for an additional grant, but rather there is some discussion about additional funding they thought they were entitled to from their grant a couple of years ago. We're working through the details. Bravo office visits. Bill has been on the streets, and there's a very wide assortment of businesses he has been to. Again, our objective is we want to let our businesses know that they have a contact that they can reach, someone who is their advocate and supporter. And we want to also be able to reach out to them when we have programs such as our Dania Beach Business Academy and other things, because we, of course, want our local businesses to benefit from all the programs that we can offer. From the patch, we have the new produce prescription program. It is actually completed its third visit to Memorial Hospital, so that is well underway, and its meeting was resounding success. This patch storage shed, which was a conversation in brief, we actually have some numbers now for an estimate on that storage shed. The next piece of that is to actually figure out where within the property to place that shed so that it will serve the best needs and purpose of their operation. But we'll be able to bring you the numbers as well as some kind of scale drawing as to where that would be located on the property. Volunteer support on the patch. So with this continued gradual reopening from COVID is actually accelerating, and there are more and more volunteers coming to the patch. We're getting more and more student groups, Girl Scout troops, and that type of thing that are coming there. And with that, that's my admin report. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have presentation to Spirit Charitable Foundation grant to the Dania Beach Patch. Come right on up.
Chair James?
Yes.
If I might mention, in addition to us being a recipient, we at the CRA have also prepared something for you as board members to reciprocate and give to Spirit Airlines as well. So it'll be an exchange. Frank's already made the deposit.
All this couldn't do it. Social media. Don't let me get in your way. Let me know.
Okay, ready?
Look
Right.
at Dylan,
Here we go.
and then look at me, please. Thank you. And look at Dylan again.
We're gonna do a couple here.
I got mine.
Okay. Here we go. Is that table on wheels? All right, perfect.
I'm sorry, can we get you on microphone?
The people who are watching online will not hear what you're saying. So if you want to repeat it.
Hello, everybody. On behalf of the Spirit Charitable Foundation, I just wanted to thank everyone, the mayor, all the commissioners for having us here today. We are so pleased to be able to partner with the city of Dania Beach on this very important project. And our 3 pillars for our foundation are children and families, service members, and the environment. So this is such a perfect match for our mission and our objectives to help our communities where we live and work. So thank you for all that you do.
Oh, and okay, I guess I'll just Uh-oh. It's these flags. They don't want us to be great. I know. Thank you again, Spirit, for your generous contribution to our patch. You know, as we work on our patch, it's always great to have partnerships with our local businesses and our business community to be able to pour into our initiatives and our food pantries and our health choices that we are trying to educate our community about. So it doesn't go unappreciative. We really, really, really appreciate you. So thank you. Next, we have the consent agenda. Do we have any pulls? Excuse me. Okay, Commissioner Llewellyn,
I was going to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Commissioner Davis. Second, she seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Awesome. Next, we have discussion and possible action. All right, sidewalks at the FEC Railroad Crossing. Kathleen, can y'all just move out a little bit so we can finish? Thank you. We have the sidewalks at the FEC railroad crossings. If you can remember the last meeting, I brought this up. I do know the history of having these sidewalks in conjunction to the railroad crossings. And I know that initially it was going to be an entire CRA project, us doing the pitch of it, the slope of it, and the crosswalks. Thankfully, FEC has completed that project on their own because the FEC is going to do what the FEC wants to do. But I still feel for ADA purposes that it is pertinent and very important that we add these sidewalks. So I'm going to ask our CRA executive director, have you spoken to the FEC to see their plans on this?
We did not speak on to see their continued or future plans. We did speak with them, and that's how they became aware and did the repair improvements that they've done to date.
Okay, do we have any cost estimates, what it would cost to put the sidewalks at these intersections, or just this one as of right now, since the other part of it has been completed?
I have found no historical reference to an estimate for construction costs. I have found where there was a $23,000 work order to actually engage an engineer to do a design and estimate for cost. We cannot find the results of that work order.
Okay, thank you. So what I am asking the board for consensus is to allow you to go out and have this as one of our projects, as I think we already approved for this project to be done, one of our priorities that we were discussing. But since it had no financial impact to our budget, I do think that is very important for people who are in wheelchairs or walkers or what have you, to be able to have those sidewalks and the crosswalks at these railroad intersections. And so I did speak with the city manager. They are not in active, engaging talks as far as the sidewalks are concerned. But I do want this project completed, and I do want the sidewalks included in that, because that was the initial discussion for us redoing the entire intersection. It was because it was a safety concern, not only for the pitch, but because we don't have any sidewalk access, we don't have connectivity. And I know that in speaking with Brightline and having that conversation with our city manager, one of the reasons why we did not get chosen for a Brightline station is because we don't have enough connectivity. And that includes systems that connect us from the east to the west, and we don't have enough connectivity when it comes down to our pedestrian crossings. And I know that I see Board Member Llewellyn here, but that is my ask for us to go and engage and get cost estimates and to add this as a CIP, a capital improvement project, because this is something that ties into our entire strategic plan. I know we already have sidewalk master plan that we're doing, but this isn't included with that. I would like this to be separate from that and to be able to augment what has been done there and add sidewalks there. So I'll go over to Commissioner Llewellyn. Board Member Llewellyn, sorry.
It's okay, thank you. Okay, so I am always big on public safety, and this is clearly a public safety issue, and it's something that needs to be addressed. My concern is, one, that order, the purchase order that was in there previously,
It was a work
or
order.
the work order, is that even still active?
We cannot find any evidence that it was carried out, and we have no results from it.
Okay, because my concern is, all right, one, if it was something that was an estimate that was done several years ago, my understanding is that this was several years ago. It was like 2016 or so when this was first brought up as far as being something that might be approved.
Maybe 17, 18.
Okay, the
Yeah,
CRA director.
the initial activity that I could find started in 2016. There were
Right.
several false starts. The work order was executed in 2018.
Okay, that's a long time ago at this point with the economy and everything else. And my other concern is, and this is just from dealing with transportation issues and dealing with the FEC and other agencies that deal with railroads and that sort of thing, I am concerned about what sort of red tape we're going to have to deal with in order to get this done, because it's technically not our property. The railroad tracks are not ours. They belong to the FEC. What I would suggest, I'm not saying that we don't do it. What I would suggest is that we do a little research to find out if in fact we're even going to be able to do anything with this. I would hate to see us spend $20,000 to $30,000 on something and then find out that we can't even do anything with it because the FEC won't let us. So that's really my concern. And I just, a little bit of research just to find out, and the executive director can do this or assign it to somebody just to kind of find out which agencies we would need to engage with, if this is something that would even be allowed, and if it's something that we can move forward on. If it's something we can move forward on and it's not going to have a major economic impact to the CRA budget, then I'm fine with it. But I think we need a little more information before we say yes.
Well, that's what my ask is. I mean, if we are saying, yes, we want to do this project, obviously he has to go and do the research and tell us if we can do it, if we can't do it. I'm not asking to go and hire someone at this moment. I'm saying that this should be public safety, and especially we've had a lot of accidents with Brightline. It's not our fault. It's Brightline goes one direction, you know. And so I want us to be able to look into this, and I don't want to just stop because we see an obstacle. And that's something that I see us do quite often. Just say, oh, they said no, then that's it. I want us to think outside the box. I want us to prioritize our residents and our public safety, which we have done in a lot of different ways. And I want Mr. Chen to be able to bring us back something comprehensive. I mean, everyone knew that this was on this agenda. So I had expected for some of these questions to already be answered.
I
So
don't know
we'll
that it's
know.
that simple though. I don't know that it's that easy to get the answers because when you're dealing with
That-
other agencies, you know, that
But
doesn't
just
always-
starting the conversation. So
Right.
no conversation has been started
that's
until right now. So that's an
that's fine.
issue. No,
I'm
no,
not-
I'm just saying that's an issue for me because if we have something that has been discussed and then something that is on this agenda, we should have, you know, not you and me, but there should have been some conversation to say, yes, this is something that we can do, or no, or I'm looking into it. I need a little more time. So I definitely agree that I don't want to just spend money on something we don't know if we can do or not. But I definitely need to I want to find out if it's something we can do. And if it's something we can do, I want us to do it.
And if the cost is going to be the same, because if it's still going to be 23,000, that's one thing. But if it's going to end up being more expensive because things have changed, that's something else we also need to be able to address. So I just think there's a number of factors that we need to go into. And I understand what you're saying. I don't have a problem as long as we're not putting money aside for it at this time. As long as it's just something that's going to be done, further research is going to be done at the next meeting, we can address it.
That's fine. And I also, after Board Member Davis comments, I wanted to ask the city manager, is this something that falls in line with the ARPA monies, with the infrastructure and stuff that we are
does.
prioritizing? So
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
I'm not
I-
disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I just want to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row before we start throwing out thousands of dollars.
Yep.
That's all.
we're on the same page. Board Member Davis, I always get Board Member and Commissioner all mixed up.
Probably should have undid it because that's basically, I was just gonna say, as long as we've dotted all our i's and crossed our t's, this project is something that I've heard from several residents over and over and over again. And it is a huge public safety issue that I think that whatever we need to invest, if we're able to go through and get the green light to go through, that this is something that we need to prioritize and get done as soon as possible. So I am in agreement with my colleagues on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So just to be clear, the directive is to do the research, to bring us back some certain numbers and objectives or whatever information that we need in order to see if this is a feasible project. And if it is, to see the cost on this project to be able to facilitate it. And I see our city manager, it's right there. City manager, you want to chime in?
Yes, I think it's important and
Hold on, because we can barely hear you. Hold on, can you turn your volume up or maybe we can turn it up on this
Yeah.
side?
Monica, can you get my volume as loud as possible? Yeah, I'm at 100%. Can you hear me?
It's still a little, it's low and a little muffled, but you know, maybe, you know, technology has a sense of humor.
Okay, so my recommendation, would be.
There you go, it's better.
Oh, good. So my recommendation to the CRA director would be to reach out to Brightline and to reach out to FEC with the specifics of what street you want to get the quote for, or if this is something that maybe they can do on their dime. I've always believed that if you don't ask, you don't get. So perhaps Northwest First Street or Dania Beach Boulevard, with the density that continues to occur in Dania Beach Boulevard, and as I see the construction on Saratoga 3 moving very quickly, or Northwest First Street, which is that major thoroughfare between Dania Point going through our park. And we know that we're going to be investing almost $20 million in the park, a new substation. So I think one of those crosswalks to connect Bryan Road to Federal Highway and City Hall with all the activities that are coming, I think it's crucial. So I think at least one of those crosswalks either Northwest First Street or Dania Beach Boulevard. But first, I would ask FEC and Brightline, what are their future plans? Get the whole plan. They've done the pitch. Fernando and Candido and I have gone there to verify the work that has been done. But let's find out what the plan is, or are they done working on this area in our city? And if they're done, are there additional budgetary dollars that we could seek under that safety umbrella to move people from one direction to the other? And if not, then the third step would be go out and get a straight up quote to find out, how much it would be and incorporate it in the fiscal year budget for 2023.
Well, she said it better than me. So is everyone in agreement on that? It's more clarity than I provided. Yeah.
It is. I will make contact with FEC.
Thank you. Next, we have board member comments. Board member Davis.
Just, even though they're not here, just really want to thank Spirit Airlines and you guys getting together and doing that community partnership to get that $20,000. That was huge, and it's a good thing for the patch. And I know that everybody who loves the patch is going to benefit well from that. So thank you. And with that, I am done.
Thank you, board member Llewellyn.
I'm actually going to defer my comments till the next meeting.
All right. Board member Ottman,
No comments tonight. Thank you.
vice chair.
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, just me. Okay. I think I had two things. One comment I will make is we still have not had a resolution for that problematic property. I've seen the same trash on the same property for approximately 2 weeks. There are buggies of trash on that property on West Dania Beach Boulevard. This is something that I continue to ask to be addressed, and it has still not have been addressed. I am not sure if we are driving through these neighborhoods in these areas, because if we were, we would definitely see that there is a need. The other day, the entire property had people with lawn chairs, barbecue pits, all type of stuff. I know you're shaking your head, Maurice, because we see it every day. And as representatives of this CRA, we need to really look at the image that we are portraying on our own properties and what we are accepting on our own properties before we can demand anything from a different property. So I'm asking again if we can please pay closer attention to that one particular property that seems to be a garbage dump every week. In the last 2 weeks, nothing has been done, nothing has been touched. The trash has still been there building up. And so it quite frankly, it concerns me that we aren't able to solve the issue of just one property. So I definitely would like I would like to know what is the plan for that property, what is currently being done for that property.
Well, actually, I know for a fact that the property was picked up less than 2 weeks ago because I did drive by it and I notified Public Works. Thank you to City Manager Garcia and her team. Fernando and his team has been helping us to pick up these sites when we find that there's been trash buildup. We did contact them and they did pick up that property. Again, I don't have the exact day on it, but it has been about less than 2 weeks ago. I can tell you, we are in conversation with a developer who has an interest in that property as well as one that is adjacent to it. The problem is he's looking to do an affordable housing project on those two parcels, and we can't apply further because of the lack of allocation in the RAC. But they are doing research. They are actually preparing designs. They're doing due diligence and so forth with the idea that they plan to move forward with an affordable housing project on those two parcels, ours included.
Okay, so what's the immediate plan? Is it going to be when you call, they come, when you drive by, they come, or is it a schedule that can be set that we can definitely address, and not only just the trash? What is the plan for code enforcement?
Well, I can't speak for code enforcement. Code enforcement certainly looks around and sees when there's problems. but we do as well. And when we see a problem, we contact Fernando and his group, and they've been supportive of us. And they're going out and pick up when we see it.
Does the CRA have the ability to, maybe this is a legal question, does the CRA have the ability to create its own plan within the code enforcement that is separate from the city to be able to have a plan?
We can make a plan, but the CRA has no manpower or resources to pick up and police garbage. We don't have trucks, we don't have bins, we don't have people that can go out and do this.
I know that's what I'm at. That's why I'm asking, does the CRA have the ability to work with code enforcement to create some type of plan so we can address certain things that are in the CRA's areas that can be separate from the what the normal plan is for the code?
Okay, actually, it's not a formal plan, but we do have a close relationship with code. They are notifying us every time they see anything that's happening in those neighborhoods, as well as our own drive arounds. And when we see it or when we're advised of it, we go and try to get it picked up immediately.
Okay, I'll move on to the Dania Beach Press. I saw this and I am a little confused. It said that we created a job training hub with FIU, and it goes on to say that, you know, we're going to open an incubator. From my understanding and from the minutes, the directive was to bring us back information so that we can see if this was a valuable thing that we could afford to do. And that was the next thing I was expecting to hear from. But, you know, I know that we all supported the directive to go out and get additional information, but this kind of says that we're already doing it.
Well, it says that the commitment is there, and it is. The next piece is to find a site location for it, and that is a place that each of you, I mean, I have to bring that to you for your direction to proceed with the negotiation and execution of a lease. So that is outstanding. Yes.
Oh, okay, and then lastly, with that, I would like to really see a breakdown of what FIU is going to do, like deliverables, and I believe that we should have something stronger than just the MOU, some type of an agreement. There is a cost to this, regardless if we're saying that FIU is doing this at no cost, but there is some type of a cost, and I just would like a little more detail from this incubator that kind of explains like the deliverables and what's going to happen. I know they kind of gave an overview of things. I love the presentation, but for someone that is going to occupy something at no charge, I definitely would want to know the exact details of it. So I'm not sure if I can set up a time so me, you, and Mr. Ford, or whoever is in charge of the program, to really iron out those details, and then I would like to see what the difference would be between the MOU and an actual agreement.
Okay, we can try to accommodate that.
All right, thank you. And with that, meeting adjourned. Good night.